In the prestigious neighborhood of Banana Island, Lagos, where gold-plated gates guarded palatial homes and exotic cars were the norm, stood the grand Balogun mansion. The walls whispered secrets of power, wealth, and legacy. But within those towering walls, hidden in the quiet corners and echoing hallways, lived a girl no one noticed. Chidinma. She was the maid. Just the maid. Her footsteps were silent, her face always lowered. No one asked her how she was or where she came from. No one knew she carried pain deeper than the Atlantic Ocean. She scrubbed floors, polished chandeliers, served tea, and disappeared before anyone could utter her name. She worked like a machine. Efficient, invisible, replaceable. But destiny has a curious way of rewriting forgotten lives. And for Chidinma, the rewrite began on the day the billionaire collapsed. Chidinma Nkemjika was born in a small, dusty village in Umuahia, Abia State. Her name meant, God is my portion, but life had dealt her everything but mercy. Her father, a palm wine tapper, died in a motorcycle accident when she was just 10. Her mother, Ifeoma, struggled to raise 5 children on a meager farming income. As the eldest, Chidinma dropped out of school at 13 to hawk akara and pap by the roadside. Her mother would cough blood at night, groaning in pain with every breath. When her mother was diagnosed with kidney failure, Chidinma made a decision that changed her life forever. She sold her only wrapper, borrowed money from a neighbor, and boarded a night bus to Lagos. She was barely 16. Her first job as a maid was in Ikeja. Her employer was a bank manager who would roam at night in boxers and insist she massage his feet. She ran away after 3 weeks. Her second job ended with accusations of theft when Madam couldn't find her diamond ring. Her third job was manageable but underpaid. She earned 7,000 naira a month and ate leftovers. By the time she arrived at the Balogun mansion, she had stopped expecting kindness. Chief Mof Balogun was a household name in Nigeria. Oil magnate, real estate mogul, investor in telecommunications and aviation. He had 3 grown children, Michael, Sophia, and Daniel. His wife, Madam Toke, was Lagos elite, fashionable, feared, and emotionally barren. The mansion was a modern palace. Marble floors, gold-plated stair railings, indoor swimming pool, private cinema. Chidinma's first day there, she was ordered not to use the front door, not to speak unless spoken to, and never to eat in the main kitchen. She shared a servant's quarters with 2 other girls. Her days began at 4 a.m., scrubbing bathrooms, cleaning floors, washing clothes. She was paid 15,000 naira monthly. Still, she sent 10,000 home to her siblings. Among the Balogun children, Michael was the eldest. Arrogant, proud, and dismissive. Sophia was self-absorbed. Glued to her phone, constantly taking selfies and attending influencer parties. Daniel, the youngest, was quieter. He had just returned from the UK and seemed withdrawn. While the rest of the house ignored her, Daniel once asked if she had eaten. "Yes, sir," she replied quickly. He nodded and walked away. It was a small moment, but it warmed her heart. It was a Tuesday morning. Chidinma had just finished cleaning the upstairs hallway and entered the chief's study with her mop. There he was, slumped over his desk, face twisted in pain, one hand clutching his chest. He screamed. The other staff came running. The cook called for an ambulance. Madam Toke came in, face pale, barking orders. But as the chief struggled to breathe, his eyes locked onto Chidinma. Chin. Ma. His trembling hand reached for her. She held it, terrified but unmoving. When the ambulance arrived, the paramedics noted that he seemed calmer when she held his hand. They took him to Lagoon Hospital. He was diagnosed with a massive stroke. His right side was paralyzed. His speech was slurred. He couldn't write. He couldn't walk. But when asked who he wanted by his side, he whispered, "Chi. Tin. Ma." At first, Madame Toke protested. Why on earth would he want that village girl hovering around him? But the doctors insisted. Emotional comfort was critical to recovery. For reasons unknown, the chief found peace around Chidinma, so she was appointed as his caregiver. She fed him, wiped his mouth, massaged his hands. She played his favorite songs, Oliver de Coke, Osadibi, Onika Onwenu. She read the newspapers aloud. She told him stories about her village. He began to smile again. Every time he managed to say, "Chi. Fin. Ma," her heart leapt. The staff began to talk. "The Oga Don fall for the Maid, oh," they whispered. But Chidinma didn't care. For the first time someone valued her presence. Their bond grew stronger. Sometimes he would cry, and she would sit beside him silently. Other times, he would tap her hand rhythmically to express joy. Then came the photograph. While tidying the chief's study, Chidinma noticed a drawer slightly ajar. Inside was a yellowed photograph. He gasped. The woman in the picture could have been her twin. Same almond eyes. Same nose. Same beauty mark near the chin. She turned it over. Ifioma, 1989. That night, the chief spoke words she would never forget. "You look like Ifioma." She froze. "Sir, my Ifioma," said baby, died. But maybe not. Her throat tightened. "Are you sure? Your mama? Is your mama?" She was shaken, but she said nothing. The next morning, Madame Toke called her into the kitchen. Without warning, she slapped her across the face. "Witch! What have you done to my husband? What did you give him?" The staff watched silently. Chidinma didn't respond. Later, Daniel found her crying behind the generator house. "You don't deserve this," he said. She wiped her tears. "I'm just a maid." He looked at her firmly. "No, you're not." The chief worsened. One evening he called for her. His voice was faint. He gestured for pen and paper. With trembling hands he wrote a note. Sealed it in an envelope. "Don't open, now. I'm gone." He looked at her, tears in his eyes. "You are the key." And with those words, Chief Mof Balagan closed his eyes for the last time. The funeral was elaborate. National TV covered it. Governors attended. But the biggest shock came days later. The family gathered in the mansion's lounge. Barrister Okonkwo opened the documents. "To my children, shares in my companies. To my wife, monthly allowance and a Lekki property. To Chidinman Kemjika, Banana Island Mansion, 30% of my estate. And full access to personal accounts." What? Okay, screamed. He presented DNA test results. Chidinman Kemjika is the biological daughter of Chief Mof Balagan and Ifioma Nwosu. Michael and Sophia stormed out. Daniel hugged her. "I knew there was something more." Chidinma opened the envelope. It contained a letter. "My beloved daughter. I found you too late, but I thank God for the chance to love you in my final days. Forgive me. Use your inheritance well. Change lives." She wept for hours. She moved into the master bedroom. She built the Ifioma Foundation to support abused housemaids. She visited orphanages. She returned to Umuahia and built a school. She helped her siblings start businesses. The press adored her. From maid to mogul, Chidinma Balogun's inspiring journey. But she never forgot the kitchen where she used to cry. Daniel stood by her. He watched her rise. One night he said, "I don't love you because you're an heiress. I love you because you never let the world break you." She smiled. "And I love you because you saw me when I was invisible." They got married in a private garden ceremony. She wore a white lace dress. On her wrist was her mother's old bracelet. From dust to destiny, she had become everything they said she couldn't be. All because of one man's last words. End.